This is what I want to talk to you about. Like we all are worried that AI is going to take all our jobs. Who is worried? Who's not worried? Anyone worried AI is going to take their job? Few people. Okay. Let's see. Before that, a little about me. I've been working for like almost 10 years now. I've worked with early stage companies. I was like employee number one at an academy, uh, employee number at 7 at Apna Jobs. Yeah, so I mean, I always had this startup bug that that is still not gone. And then I finally started Code Parrot a year back. We got funded by Y Combinator. Um, yeah, so this is about me. Okay, now let me take you back in time. Anyone knows what this logo is? People. Yeah. Okay. So that was my next question. How many of these hands that were raised actually know how to exit Vim? Okay, you. Okay. So yeah, this is like a very common thing. And so this is like the point I'm trying to make here is like this is how we started programming. Like now, obviously, like this is what 20-ish, I think 30-ish years ago. Uh, People used to write code in Vim. It's good that a lot of you don't know what it is. Let's take a few steps forward. I think this a lot more people would be familiar with, right? Uh, like for example, obviously these are IDEs. You can see code suggestions, autocomplete. Do you? How many of you have used that thing? What the image on the left, on the right? So that is multiple cursor. I think the first time when I used it, I was like blown away. So I think 5 years ago or something. Like wow. Now no more commands, command C, command V. Right? So yeah, this is. I think now this is the state of affairs, right? Obviously, anyone prefers Vim over this? I knew you would be the one. We should chat. Okay. And now we are here, where AI is going to take our jobs, right? So, I mean, obviously we have ChatGPT, so that's ChatGPT interface over there. We have Code Llama. Uh, so this is like a very recent trend. I think a year when ChatGPT was released, and it's continuously getting better. Right, it's getting giving larger code outputs, giving correct code. Earlier, if I don't know if you remember, the code didn't even used to compile. Right, you had to fix the errors yourself. Yeah. Now, as a glimpse of the future, let me show you. I'm going to show you, a bit about code parrot. Sit down and let's see how this is going to work. Okay. Uh, okay, so this is a regular VS Code IDE, right? This is a blank page. Let's say, yeah. Let's say we have a design given by the designer, and we want to make this is a big page. Okay, let's take a small section. Okay, let's not make it too hard for the AI. Let's say we want to, yeah. Let's say we want to make these two cards, right? There is it. That's my wife, in case people are wondering. Yeah. Yeah. So I copied the link. Everyone can see at the back. Is it zoomed out enough, right? I'll zoom in a bit over here. Okay, I'm going to edit this file, code parrot. It's practically empty. Uh, I'm going to paste this here. Yep. I have put in some code gen settings. I'll come back to this, but yeah, you can specify the code stuff over here. And let's see. So basically, I have given asked CodeParrot to make this component for me, and this is I'm not not just talking about CodeParrot, right? Like you could make in some more effort and get the same thing done by ChatGPT. So it's basically CodeParrot also uses GPT-4 on the backend, right? And as you can see, it has already started generating code. This is generating quite fast. It has given some code. How many of you have used or uh, like used ChatGPT or something similar to generate code? Oh, everyone. That's pretty good. What do you think? Like, obviously, this code is there. How good is it going to be? Like, firstly, is it going to be usable? How much? Uh, how much do you have to edit? What do you think will go wrong? What will not work? Anything? Just any ideas since you have used it? Oh, I guess. Okay, he's saying that the performance of GPT-4 has gotten low. No, I meant that the code that is generated, right? Let's say compare this code that is generated with a human that has written it. Let's say you wrote it yourself, right? Compared to that, how what is the code output? Like, do you think is it going to be good enough? Is it going to match the design? Hmm. That's interesting. Yeah, I think that's a good point, right? If, like he said, that if a human wrote the code, uh, they would have reused the existing code that is there, not like generated it. I think that's a very good point. Okay, first let's see how it runs. Okay, quite a few errors. Okay, TypeScript errors. I think I'll ignore that for now. First, let's see how. What do you think? How long would have it taken you to make this? So, I mean, see, if you look closely, there are some issues. Okay, it's not 100% accurate. For some reason, this icon is dark and it's actually light over here. There are some issues, but it's pretty good. Right? When I asked about the code quality, did someone mention responsiveness? I think someone had, yeah, a couple of people had mentioned responsiveness, right? Okay, so let's check that. Okay, not responsive. But what we can do is we can ask it to make it. Oh, by the way, one thing I forgot to mention. So, CodeParrot automatically downloads these, what do you call these assets? So, as you can see, these assets were downloaded automatically. That's just basically like a Figma export. So, if uh, go here, yeah, it's like same as exporting it from here. You just do that on the API on the backend. Cool. Let's see. Okay, I'm not going to go through the code. It seems like it has made something. Okay. I mean, kind of responsive, but we would want that to be in the center, right? Okay. Okay, the mobile one is good actually. The tab one is incorrect. I think it applied the breakpoint in the wrong place. Okay. Um, so yeah, I think broadly this is what I wanted to show you, right? Like we asked it to like make it responsive, right? So it did something. Now, obviously, if you give it some more prompts, right? This was done in like 5 minutes. So if you spend some more, it's going to be even better, right? Oh yeah, about your question, right? Like, if does it reuse existing code? So, it GPT itself is quite smart. It can reuse it. The thing is that you have to input all of that, right? So tools like obviously Copilot, Copilot Chat, CodeParrot, and a lot of others like Codium and all, right? They do use existing code. So let's say this button, right? Let's say this button was already there, so it will get reused, right? Like in our case for CodeParrot, you just have to mention it as an import. So if it's there in the import, it will reuse it. And yeah, we have a bunch, so like and yeah, obviously there'll be other stuff that it cannot do. Any questions? Any thoughts? Yeah, yeah. Locofy is a similar tool. I think Locofy also uses GPT-4 in the backend. Sorry? Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, oh yeah, let me get back to that. So he's talking about the project structure, coding structure, right? So that is very important. I think that is something that was not possible, let's say maybe 2 years ago. Since GPT-4 that has become like really good. I have I have given some additional rules that I ask it to follow. So for example, I don't want to use like the usual image tag. Okay, I want to use the next since I'm already using Next.js. I want to use this style. Another is this is I think my personal preference. I don't. I'm sure a lot of people will not agree with me, but I do not like to add trailing semicolons. So there are no semicolons at the end of the line. Like whatever, right? So you can specify your own preferences over here. And more importantly, it will try to figure out from your project structure and reuse whatever is there. Yeah. Correct. Yeah. 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 I mean, so he's talking about context window, right? So that is true. I think this one is 125K tokens or something around that number. I'm not sure. No, no, that is for Llama. I'm talking about GPT-4. Sorry, that is for I think Gemini. No, no, 4.0 is not 4 million. The thing is that, so some other models, like they have these million token windows. But what happens is, uh, just the window itself is not enough. Like it has to figure out what is important. Like you just give it a large block of text, it will not like it will miss out certain things. So it has to, one is the context window, another is that it has to still be accurate over the large window. So I think those two things have to be balanced. And I have tried a lot of models. GPT-4 is pretty good. But yeah, from what else I've tried, like the other models are not that. Hmm. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure. Yeah, I guess. True. How many have you seen the Devin demo? So yeah, I think that's something like that. Okay, let me get back. You can, we'll jump to questions later. I have some more slides remaining. Right. So, this is like a brand new tool, right? I think just the way, like a difference between Vim and an ID. Folks, please, I'm going to finish up pretty quickly. So, don't talk among yourself. We can, I'll promise to finish quickly. So, this is like a new tool that is out there. Right? It is obviously as good as you use it. So it's not that it'll magically do stuff for you. You have to be able to understand it, to use it, right? It's like a tool, like maybe like a screwdriver or something, right? It does have a learning curve, so you have to understand what to prompt, you know, like, and once you start getting used to it, you'll get better at prompting it. So like I knew that if I just tell it to make it responsive, it will do something. Like, but I guess I should have told it to make it responsive by splitting it on both on like on the like not splitting it on side by side in mobile, but it did the same thing in tab. So I did not specify that much. Um, yeah, and I think in the end, just try it out because I'm sure you learn a lot, and then it's a new tool. So you should like once you try it out and once you learn it, then you can actually understand how good it is or how bad it is. It can go either way. So just to close, right? Once you learn this, like just as an analogy, there's no going back. Once you have used it, you can understand like the power of it. It's not going to replace you, okay, as much as some people would like to believe. It's just a tool out there. But yeah, like I strongly believe once I used it, right, and not just Code Parrot. Obviously, like first I started with GitHub Copilot, right? That's the tab autocomplete, and then I started using GitHub Chat, a Copilot Chat, and now obviously building Code Parrot and tried out Podium, Cursor. There's a lot of these tools out there. Yeah, I think that's my closing thoughts. Uh, I'm happy to connect with every one of you. I'm Vedant's Opinions both on Twitter and LinkedIn.